Hello there. Welcome everybody. This is our first ever episode of Baking Bad. I want to give a special thanks to Pete for the name. The second I heard it, it was an instant winner. And thank you for all the suggestions. We got lots of great suggestions for the name of this. This is obviously the first video I've ever done that's kind of like this. So it's kind of new to me. So let me know what you think about the video, any advice, anything like that in the comments. All of it is welcome. So I suppose we better gear up then. I do have an apron. I got this as a gift. It is Slytherin. I am not Slytherin. I'll just put that out there. I am Hufflepuff all the way. But you can't do some baking without an apron. I said I would wear it. I'm having trouble doing the back though. I need to think this through. And there we go. So the ingredients you're going to need for the Nanar Bread are 260 grams of all-purpose flour, 120 grams of unsalted butter, 140 grams of brown sugar. I'm using light brown sugar, 1 teaspoon of bicarbonate of soda or baking soda, a quarter teaspoon of salt, a half a teaspoon of cinnamon, 2 large eggs, 70 grams of Greek plain yogurt or vanilla yogurt, which I like to use for a little bit of extra flavor, 1 teaspoon of pure vanilla extract, and then nuts and chocolate chips. So the first thing you want to do is get a big mixing bowl. We're going to add the bananas. I decided to do banana bread because of the fact that obviously everything that's going on with the coronavirus, people are doing a lot more baking. That's how I started to properly get into it. I will say I'm not an expert in baking. I've only recently actually started to properly bake, but I got really into it and have been enjoying it. So I've been doing a lot of extra baking and doing my own recipes and tweaking other ones and that kind of stuff. So it's a lot of fun. And the banana bread is great because it's a great thing to make if you have like leftover bananas or bananas that are overripe or are just about to ripe, you know. Also a trick if you really want to make banana bread and you don't have ripe bananas yet, you can throw them in the oven. I usually throw them in at about 140 degrees. Throw them in for like, I don't know, 10-15 minutes. You keep an eye on them when you're doing it, and when the skin starts to turn brown, when it's fully brown, you'll know they're done. So it's a handy little thing to overripe bananas, or if you want to ripe some that are not ripe yet. The riper the bananas, the better though, because you will get more flavor and more sweetness as well. And the larger the banana as well. You want a good large banana for this recipe. Get a masher and get mashing. Again, they will mash better as well if they are ripe, because obviously they go a lot softer, but you'll get a nicer flavor when they're more ripe. So that is the bananas. You want them nice and mashed like that. So once you have your nanners mashed into oblivion, you can turn on your oven to 170 to get a nice preheat on it. You have all that ready. Put your nanners to the side. Get your unsalted butter. I cut it up into little bits to have it ready to go. It mixes a lot better. You want to keep your eggs and your butter at room temperature, just because it make it easier to mix, especially with the butter can get really hard when it's cold, so it'll be a lot easier to mix together and mesh. So get your butter, get your brown sugar, dump that in. I usually get a spoon to mix it in because you can really mash in the butter. And just mash it all together. It might take a few minutes, and eventually the butter and the sugar will mix together and it will become nice and smooth. Crack a few eggs in. Two large eggs will do it, and then whisk it all together. It's going to take a few minutes. I don't actually own an electric whisker, so if you have one, you can use that for this part. You just mix it until it's all meshed together. I will let you know there will be a pile accumulating over here. I am a messy cook, extremely messy cook. So once all of that is done, throw that over there. You will want your flour. Get some bicarbonate of soda. You have about a teaspoon, about a quarter spoon of salt, and about half a teaspoon of cinnamon. And just give that a nice little whisk or mix together. Just make sure they're all properly mixed in together. And then get your brown sugar, egg and butter mix. get the yogurt, add in the yogurt. Again, with the yogurt, any plain yogurt will do. I use Greek vanilla yogurt because I think the vanilla adds a lot more flavour, but you can use plain as well. I used to do it with plain, then I started doing it with vanilla Greek yogurt, 0% fat. It's nice, it adds a lot more flavour to it, especially with the, because you're going to have a little vanilla undertone taste to this as well. So, and then while you're doing that, you may as well add in your vanilla extract. I do a teaspoon, and then throw in your mashed nanners. Just bung it all in there. And you just mix all of that up until it's fully combined. And obviously feel free to pick at your chocolate that you have set aside, because picking is obviously one of the best things about baking. So we're getting close now. The next step then is to just mix in your flour mix a little bit at a time. I just like literally just dump about a third of it in, mix it all around. When it's fully incorporated, grab the bowl, throw in loads more, mix it around. And obviously as you're adding in the flour and stuff, it's going to start stiffening up now. Add in more flour. For this part, I would not use an electric whisk because you don't want to over mix it either. You just want to do it until it's combined. That, and then dump in the last little bit. Again, you don't have to go too reserved when you're adding in the flour mix. Don't be adding in tiny amounts. I just literally just dump it in and you're fine. It's just so it doesn't clump if you throw it all in at once. Make sure you get all of the sides now. And then it should be after thickening up quite a bit. When it's all mixed, give it another little mix. And then should be done. Should be done. So when you're done, your mix should look a little bit like that. It'll be a bit thick. The next part, you want to get this ready, your loaf tin. I use a 10 by 5 loaf tin. So it usually does a perfect amount with a loaf tin like that. You could do something a bit smaller as well. I always break off a little bit of parchment paper. I line the bottom of it with this. Now you don't have to do this, you can just grease the tin. That's what I used to do, but I found that every now and again when you were trying to get it out, the bottom of it might stick and then it'll tear it. And while it doesn't actually affect the flavour or anything, like, it's not going to mess it up, but it does just for presentation, it kind of ruins a little bit. So I always do this, putting the parchment paper at the bottom, then if you just cut the sides when it's done and turn it over, it'll literally just slide out. So it's really, really handy. I will show you later when this is all done, I will show you how easy it is to do. And then for the next bit, again, just grease up your baking tin, the sides. It's important to grease it, as I said, because it will just stick directly to it. You don't need much. Just get a bit of butter on a bit of kitchen paper is what I do, and just smear it around. Job done. Put that back in there. And now she is ready for the banana bread. So the last step then for actually assembling this is, now you can mix and match with this. I prefer for the added extras. You can just do it like this if you want. If you want plain banana bread, just throw it in the oven now. You throw it in this, throw it in the oven. If you want to mix it up a bit, I like to add nuts and chocolate to it. My favorite is walnuts and then chocolate chips. I usually use dark chocolate chips. This time I'm using milk chocolate chunks. But dark chocolate is nice, it's all nice. I do almonds every now and again as well, or you can do like pecans or whatever. My favorite would be walnuts though. I crush them up, give them a nice bash. Take a few out, just to decorate the top if you want to do that, I always do. Just take a little bit of each out. Throw them to the side. And then just dump them in. Just make sure that the walnuts are a bit mashed. Throw the chocolate in. And then, where's my spoon gone? I lost my spoon. I'll get another one. And then just fold them into the mix. If any of you don't know what folding is, it's literally just, you literally just do that and just turn it slowly, because you're trying to keep the structure of whatever you made in, but mix in the other stuff. Not especially important with this recipe. And then once they're all mixed in, you're pretty much good to go. For the chocolate chips and the walnuts, for how much you put in, I usually do about 50 grams of each. Or if you're doing only one, like if you're doing just chocolate, you can do 100 grams of chocolate or 100 grams of walnuts, or do 50 of each, or just go nuts and do whatever the hell you want, you know. I used to do a lot more in them, but I kind of pulled it back because I find it's nicer if they're just kind of sprinkled throughout, you know. So take that, dump this in. We have a lot left over there. Where's my spoon? Dump all of this in here. Now that that's in, give it a shake, let it get its structure, and then you just want to line the top with the bits that you took out earlier on. You can just throw them in the middle, like that, just for some decoration until they're all even. And then, I don't actually have that much walnuts for this one. I usually just sprinkle the walnuts on top. Oh, that's not too bad. Just for decorative purposes. I'm going to throw some flaked almonds on because they make it look a bit nice. Because I don't have that much walnuts on, I kind of got a bit overboard and threw them all in. So just throw them in and you're done. And that's pretty much it. So then it's ready to go in the oven. As I said, have the oven preheated to about 170. I have a fan assisted oven, so I'm doing that at 170. So obviously adjust based on your oven. All ovens are different. I always throw it in on the top shelf. Once you have your banana bread in the oven, time 35 minutes. That is not how long it takes, but we need to do another step at 35 minutes. And when you're waiting in the meantime, you can clean up a bit. Also guys, if you liked the video, please let me know in the comments below. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. I want to do more videos like this, more baking videos. And if you like the video, I will do more. I plan on doing more anyway, you know, I like doing them. I like baking. I have some really, really good recipes. The banana bread I did because it's simple and everybody seems to be cooking it in isolation, so I thought it'd be a cool thing to do. It's easy. Most of the ingredients you would have, you know, and it's absolutely delicious. So right about now, the kitchen should be smelling like banana bread, which is absolutely delicious. I love the smell of banana bread. So what you want to do is get a bit of tin foil, because you will need that for the next part. That is the alarm. That's 35 minutes. And if I turned it off. So it should be looking about this right about now. Pretty tasty. So the next step then is to just cover the top of it with tin foil. The reason why you cover the top of it with tin foil is just so that it doesn't burn. You know, the top, when you have it in without it, it's all going to rise up, and then the outside is all going to be cooked, but the middle won't. So if you put the tin foil over it, it stops the top of it from being burnt and browning too much, so the inside can get a nice even cook. Nice little loose bit of tin foil over it like that. And then you throw it back in the oven, and then you time about 30 minutes I would do, and then I start checking it every like 5 minutes after that, and then we'll check it when it's done. Oh, and that is time. So we will take this out. So best way to check if your banana bread is done, get a toothpick, put it down, directly down into the middle, and then pull it up. And if it is clean, nothing on it, then it is good. So that is done. Get a big knife. Now what I do for this, I cut it now just so it doesn't dry, just so it doesn't cool and stick to the sides. Yeah. And then we're just gonna leave this to cool for a few minutes, and then we'll come back. Now that we've let it cool for a few minutes, it's time to dish up. So, what I do for this, to get it out, just grab it like that, put my hand over it, and boom. And then it falls out, and you will, don't forget to take off your sheet of parchment paper if you put that there. Bit of that, and there you go. That is the completely wrong knife for cutting a banana bread. down like that. And look at that. And look at that. Beautiful. As I said, if you want to do some modifications, you can. Add a little bit of caramel to your mix when you're doing it and then drizzle some on the top. You got a banoffee bread. If you want to add in little chunks of toffee, you can do that as well, just for a little bit of extra chew. You can add in some white chocolate chips, dark chocolate chips, different nuts. It's especially nice with pecans and almonds. I regularly do it with almonds as well. You can also do it in a muffin tray if you wanted little banana bread muffins. It's really, really good like that as well. If you want to store this as well, I would recommend slicing it and then freezing it. It works really well frozen. Or if you want to change the flavor a little bit, you can put it in the toaster as well and toast it after it has cooled and everything. It's exceptional. There's a lot of extra stuff you can do with it. It's a really, really good dessert. So that's pretty much it from me. Thank you everybody who has watched the first ever episode of Baking Bad Nanar Bread. I hope you all enjoyed it. I hope you all made it. For anyone that attempts this recipe as well, please tweet at us or contact us on social media and show us a picture and tell us if you did any modifications and how it turned out. We are really excited to see if any of you guys try this. It is a really, really good banana bread. If you liked the video, please like, comment and subscribe. So for the next episode of Baking Bad, I want you guys to decide what I make. You have two options: a tiramisu or an apple and lemon bakewell / frangipan. Both really good recipes. I've made them many times and they are absolutely delicious. So please let me know in the comments below which recipe you want me to do next. We'll hashtag it new recipe if you're doing a vote on which one you want, and we will leave it open for about 2 weeks or until I'm doing the next episode. We should be doing until we do the next episode. Then I will check and I will see which one has more votes and then I will make that one. So I'm really looking forward to that. Thank you everyone again, and we will see you next time. Later.
So I could soothe your frightened mind and let our souls collide. Rising tide so we can ride away.